Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, November 11th, 2021. It is Veterans Day. So to all the veterans out there, thank you so much for your service. We appreciate you always, and especially today. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. The kids, for us, have the day off from school. And so you might hear a little bit of extra noise in the background. There's a show on Netflix that my daughter's watching. I don't know what it's called, but it is a combination of a bake-off cooking show and engineering. They basically have to make cakes that like have structural integrity, and they do things like shake them like it's an earthquake. Or this one episode, I think they're going to put it into a crash test car and see if the cake survives. So I don't know what that show's called, but that's what they've been doing all day. You might hear some of it. It's called Baking Impossible, my daughter just told me. So in case you guys want to check that out on Netflix, we've been watching it all morning. Everyone listening in on the podcast version, hopefully you're having a good run. I have not gone for my run yet today. Hopefully I'll be able to get going after the live stream today because it was really nasty and raining pretty hard this morning. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get a couple miles in. And for all of you who are watching after the fact on YouTube, hopefully you guys are relaxing right now and having a nice recovery beverage. Speaking of recovery beverages, it is happy hour today, so where's mine? For today, what I'm going to be trying out is more Vega protein. So I've been eating like the regular, like the Vega with veggies that I've been doing. It's okay. I'm almost done with the bottle. But today I thought I'd try some of these like sachets, these little pouches. I don't, love all the packaging, but for when I'm traveling, like when I was in New York, or like if I'm going somewhere for a race, having the little packets is pretty convenient to have. And when I was at Whole Foods last time, I bought a bunch of these. This one is an energy blend. It has 100 milligrams of caffeine, so I still do have my afternoon coffee or my leftover morning coffee, but we'll get a little bit of extra caffeine in here. 15 grams of protein, 0 added sugar, some vitamin D as well. Let's see how many sugars are there in this. No added sugars, but there's 6 grams of carb in here. There's some phosphorus, magnesium, choline, potassium, iron, vitamin D, and vitamin B12. So some electrolytes in here and other minerals. I got some water, and let me get this in there and get it shaken up and stirred. It says it's the no blender mix, so I shouldn't. Oh boy, that just exploded a little bit. So I should be able to shake this in and see how it goes. I know you guys aren't loving the Vega plant-based proteins. I don't think that they're not my favorite. I will agree with you guys on that, but they're not bad, I'll say. Whew, man, I am making a mess. All right, how are you guys doing? We got Pack North Ultra says perfect timing for the pre-run motivation. Awesome, welcome. Philip Bourne says what's going on and joining in from the couch. Reversal rolls and using Laura as a pillow. There you go. Turnabout's fair play, right? So it's only fair. You know what? I got to tell you what, guys. Mostly jokingly, I think my dog is not doing well. He's become a very different dog lately. And, they say like behavioral changes, are usually indications that dogs are not doing great. But when I got back from the New York trip, he was super excited to see me. Like he was just like spinning around in circles. He was just trying to jump up on me. He was like, it's like he remembered me and was happy to see me have returned. Now that's something my dog normally doesn't do. Normally the dog's just kind of like ambivalent to my presence. And he was super excited to hang out. And he's also been really snuggly, wanting to be pet. If I sit down on the floor, he'll come over and like stare at me. I think if he could, he's older now. If he could, he would hop in my lap. But I think he wants me to pick him up and put him in my lap. So he's taken a couple of naps in my lap, which he hasn't done since he was a puppy, a good 12, 13 years ago. So I don't know. He's finally figured out how to be, enjoy his life as a dog, or he's dying. One of the two. Hopefully he's just enjoying being a dog. We got Dr. Josh is in here saying, what up, co-fam? Good to see you, Dr. Josh. Jonathan Crossley says, it's been a minute, but happy to join in today. Good to have you, Jonathan. This seems to be mixing up pretty well as far as like dissolving. Normally the Vega protein stuff, it's really hard to dissolve it in, but it's working so far. It looks nice. It looks like caramel-ish. The flavor is vanilla cappuccino. We'll see how it goes. Jonathan says he's had lots of travel for work the last few weeks, but rewatched a lot of these as well as in the Long Runs channel while on the treadmill. Awesome. Well, that's cool. Very, very cool. Runner Will's here. What's going on, Will? He says, hey, what's up, everyone? And Leona says, hey, cool fam. Terrence, Lee, Martha, and I will be at CIM and can't wait to meet you, Mike. We'll be at the expo Friday at 1:30 to 3, and ideas when your shakeout run activities will be. So I just signed up for the expo session today at that same time. So, you know, we should hopefully meet up there right at 1:30. For this marathon, you have to sign up for like a window of time where you can be there. I'm thinking that I think I'm going to get in Thursday night. So I'm thinking the shakeout will probably be Friday. Saturday, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So maybe we'll do it Friday. Is that going to be bad if I do the shakeout Friday? I think maybe we should do this shakeout Saturday. I don't know. What do you guys let me know what you think. I think the shakeout, just because that way if people are coming in on Friday, like after work, then we could do the shakeout Saturday morning for the Sunday race. It's a Sunday race, right? I suppose I should know that by now. But if that's the case, then let's do it that way. So that way maybe we'll do the shakeout Saturday. So it's kind of loosely, I got to start putting some stuff together. But yeah, Saturday sounds like it makes a little bit more sense. The other thing that I've been thinking about is I've been following Matt Chittum. Well, I mean, I always kind of like listen to what he's doing in the Rambling Runner, but I think he's going to be at the expo. So he's not only running it this weekend, but he's going to be at the expo doing like live podcasts or live shows. So I'm probably going to want to go to some of those too, but can we go to those? Because if we're supposed to have a window of when we could be at the expo, how do we go to those things? I don't know. I got to figure that out too. But yeah, so those are some of the plans. I still haven't booked flights or hotels, so I got to do all that stuff too. Danny's here, running with scissors. Good to see you again. He says, hello, good morning from foggy California. Brendan's here. Brendan says, hello, folks. Brendan, I saw your post. Brendan's been using the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. I'm excited. Mine arrived. I'm debating whether or not to make a video about it. And so it's like sitting in a box in case I decide I want to do an unboxing. So I had it for a couple of days now that I've been back, but I just haven't used it yet. I'm very excited because when I put 4K footage into my regular MacBook, it just really chokes. Like 4K 120 frames per second footage is having a hard time. So I'm looking forward to that no longer being the case. At least that's what I hope is going to happen. All right. Vincent Veneris says, hi, Coat and friends. And Neon01 says, hi, everyone. All right. Let's scroll down a little bit. Seek Your Elite says, good day, everyone. And Brett says, happy hour day, everybody. All right. With that being said, let's scroll. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Sorry, guys, if you've put something in there. If you have a question, can you put it in there again so that way I can make sure I see it? But cheers to happy hour. We made it to Thursday. I'm going to try this stuff. Vanilla cappuccino, Vega proteins. Oh, it smells good. It has that like vanilla, like that caramel smell to it. This I like. This is really good. Yep, see the baby's here because she doesn't have school either. You know, right? Okay. Can you go play and do your unicorn book? Okay, thank you. She has a unicorn activity book. Word searches, mazes, connect the dots, all sorts of stuff. So she's keeping busy. Melvin Umang says, hey, co-family, just PR'd on Sunday. Awesome. Sunday in the Halifax, Canada at 3:30 at 57 on a course with 1,500 feet of elevation gain. It's a second full. Woo! Giving me hope to get down to 320s on a conventional flat course. There you go. There you go. You'll get there. You get there. With 1,500 feet of gain, that's quite a bit. That is quite a bit. I would say that's worth a lot. I'm not sure what the conversion would be. It depends on like how quick it was, but how much downhill there also was. But that is very, very promising. Good work. Kerry Smith says the Vega Protein Sport is pretty tasty. Oh, okay. This is good. It's called Hello Wellness from Vega. Spring in your step. Blender-free version. 100 milligrams caffeine. I like it. All right. Doko Tagurin says, hello from Alberta. It's been a while, but glad I can make it on Holiday Remembrance Day. Oh, very cool. I'm glad that you guys have that up there, too. Interesting. Awesome. And good to see you again. It has been a while. Brendan said, oh, man, it absolutely crushes the 4K 120 footage from the Hero 10. You should have no issues at all. I'm shocked at their performance. See, I'm looking forward to that. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm thinking maybe not for tomorrow's video or whatever the next day video is going to be, just because I got a lot of work I got to do. But maybe over the weekend I'll crack it open and get to it. And I need to get working on it too, because I'm at the point now where I don't know if it's just, I don't know why computers do this as they get older, but it's like computers seem to like literally age, as it ages. It's like, no, just things just don't work as well. It's like like a digital version of like arteriosclerosis, where everything just doesn't work as nice. So right now, the battery life is still decent on my MacBook. It's 3 years old, maybe 4, and the battery life's still good. But like, it used to be that I would be able to work until the battery life ran out, like on a flight, if I'm working on a lot of videos, doing lots of stuff. Now, like if I'm throwing a lot of 4K video footage at it at 120 frames per second, it will just get tired and really hot. I don't know if it's overheating and throttling or what's going on, but it gets really hot and tired, even though I have battery left, and it just to a point where it's just kind of like, I can't really do anything anymore. So I'll just close the lid, put it away, and watch the movie on the plane for a little bit, and then just wait. So yeah. So hopefully all those issues will be resolved with the new machine. All right. Let's see. Juggle Mank says, "Hey, Co, Chicago-specific question. Do you ever see the lady that cheers loudly from her bike? Her and I seem to be on a similar schedule on the Lakefront Trail. So fun. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And, I didn't know what was going on. I just thought she was singing the whole time. There's this one woman. She's on a road bike. Does she ever wear? I don't think she ever wears a helmet. But she has like silver white hair. It's about the same length as mine, I think. And I think she has headphones in. And I think she's always like chewing gum. And whether I'm running or on the bike, I'll see her, and usually I have headphones in, so I can't hear exactly what she's saying. But she's always belting something out at the top of her lungs. And I thought for the longest time that she was singing along to her music, because there's a lot of people along the lakefront that do that. Typically they're rollerbladers, but, I thought, it's not that weird. And then I realized she was saying hi to everyone, and she was telling everyone like what a great day it is. So it's just really uplifting to see her. And so when I do see her, it does cheer me up when I do get to see her. So it's pretty funny. And I've been like waving back now. And I think she's so used to everyone ignoring her that like the first couple of times I waved back, she was like kind of like startled a little bit. She's like, oh, kind of like how I like to use like a kid's analogy. Like sometimes when like kids are just like dancing, let's say like kids are just like, kids always have that extra energy. They got to move their bodies. They'll just be dancing. And then if you're just like, hey, what are you doing? And they'll like turn around and be like, oh, I didn't realize people could see me. I thought I was invisible. Like that kind of like startled. That's what she does. We're not anymore. Now like we're kind of like recognize each other. But Juggle Man, we must be on the somewhat similar schedule too. But because I see her regularly. But I also think that she's out there multiple times a day. Liam Mahoney says, do you ever use branch chain amino acids for recovery? I do. Some of my favorite ones, there's a Noon product. Yeah, the Noon Recovery has branch chain amino acids. I really like that. That's tasty. Very, very tasty. And like always for me, like, cause there's always different like ratios of things or different like collection of things in these different recovery drinks. And the way that I usually gauge which ones I think are kind of working for me is which ones do I just generally feel good when I'm taking, or which ones do my body crave. And I don't think it's like just because it's like they crave sugar or they crave the salt, because I eat sugary things, I eat salty things. So I don't think it's just that. I think it's like my body's like, hey, whatever you've been giving me, give me some more of that. We're craving it. So I do like the branch chain amino acids. Are they metabolically any more better for you than other things? I'm not sure. But I know that when I've taken them in my recovery drinks or my like after drink protein shake or protein drink, I do tend to really like them. And you know what? Yesterday, I think there's definitely caffeine here because I feel like I'm talking really fast all of a sudden. But so I'm going to try to slow down. Yesterday, speaking of branch chain amino acids, I was listening to, it was 2 days ago when I was on the bike. And I was listening to the Morning Shakeout podcast. Mario Froley had someone on who is the CEO of a new product called Jambar. She's the mother of someone he's coaching, something like that. But she's very famous, especially in the bar space, because she and her husband started Power Bar. Remember how we've been talking about Power Bar so many times on this live stream? And what she said was that in the original formulations of Power Bar, before Power Bar got sold to Nestle, I think it was Nestle, they included branched chain amino acids in the product. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. I remember Power Bars. I would eat them, like I would bring them specially for my track meets in high school. Like, I mean, these are the special things. I will eat them, and I treated them like I treat Martin gels now. Like, I'll savor these in a special space in the closet, you know, like that kind of thing. And I do remember eating them. I had no idea what was in them, but it was like, it's something that athletes eat, and I'm an athlete. So it was really always very special. But apparently they used to have branched chain amino acids in there. I didn't know. Carrie Smith wants to know if I've tried the Rebel 2 yet. Such a fun shoot. Would love a Rimcon versus Rebel version 2 video. Okay, I think we could do that. I have tried the Rebel 2. I do like it a bit. I wish that it had a little bit more stack height to it, but I suppose it makes it still stay somewhat true to the version 1. Version 1 and version 2 are very different, but both were kind of like shorter, faster day shoes. I think that like New Balance can, like, I'm concerned for the Beacon, because I'm like, I don't know who I recommend the Beacon to when the Rebel 2, the Beacon 3, who do I recommend that shoe for when the Rebel exists? It's hard, right? It's almost like an unnecessary shoe anymore. But I think that if they added more stack height to the Rebel 2, then it would be more of a daily trainer that you can use on fast days, rather than what I think of it as a fast day shoe that can sometimes be used for your everyday. You know, like I feel like that Rebel 2 would have also been a really good choice for me to bring for like New York Marathon weekend. But I brought the Rincon 3s. And you know what? I didn't track how much I ran on marathon day. I don't really think it was that much. But it was very short and very intense bursts of running. But it was also a lot of standing around. And I think the Rincons, like the foam has deformed in a very interesting way. You have to look at it really closely. And I don't think it's really affecting its overall performance now, but like it looks like someone smushed my Rincons. If you look at the underside, you know, there's like that little pocket underneath. That area, you could see that some of the foam is compressed in a weird way. So that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. They still feel great. I ran in them on Monday, and I traveled with them, but they were comfortable for that. But yeah, maybe I'll have to put that in. The other thing that just came in while I was gone is I finally got a pair of Adios 6s. Yeah, Adios 6. So I'm excited to try that too. But yeah, I got a lot of running I want to do, and I feel like I have so much more time, but I'm like, I got an email from CIM saying like, you know, it's taper time. I'm like, it's not taper time already. Can it possibly be? But it's like this weekend, it'll be 3 weeks out. So this weekend, I think I'm going to go for my longest run of the block. I'll try to go for a 22-mile run. I'll probably do it. I'll do it in the Adios Pro 2 just to make sure that that's the shoe that I want to run the marathon in. It's either going to be that or the RC Elite 2, one of those two. So we'll see which one it ends up being. All right. Let's scroll down. I'm way behind on everybody. We have got super chat from Ray. What's going on, Ray? He says Sergeant Solars, United States Marine Corps, June 1974 to June 1978. Thank you so much, sir, for your service. It's a veterans check-in, and happy Veterans Day. Thanks so much, Ray. I appreciate that. Those were tough years, I think, to be in the military. So much respect to you, sir. Thank you. All right. Shannon says, Coach just mentioned his college track days. Wondering if he was at a meet in Washington spring of '98. At a high school meet, finished the 3200 DFL and had a college athletes cheering me in so they could start. Spring meet at '98. That I would have been. I was on the team in spring of '98. That was the only year that I was on the team. That was only spring. That was the only outdoor season that I ran. High school. I don't remember any high school meets happening on the track. It sounds somewhat familiar though, but there's very possible that we could have been there at the same time. So, I graduated from high school in '97. So I would have been on like the '97, '98 indoor team, and then the '98 outdoor team. So I would have been there. I would have been at the pole vault pit, though. So, I mean, it's possible. It's very possible, Shannon. Such a small world. Ina says, tonight we are baking, and on the menu are mazarines, toffee biscuits, and gingerbread man. That sounds delicious. Absolutely delicious. The poop cake is almost gone, although there's lots of extra cake left and extra frosting, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, most of the cake is gone. I've been feeding it to the children for breakfast, and I've also been eating it for breakfast. Affluent Journeys says he's at the coffee shop and these girls are in med school studying urology with all these diagrams up on their laptops. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. CJ Cruz is here, says, what do you got there? Oh, look at this. She made a moon. My daughter made a moon using the leftover chocolate cake and some white fondant. Fondant. This is pretty. Very pretty moon. So we got more cake, guys. We got more cake. Awesome. CJ says, yo, what's going on? Got busy lately, but the silver lining is I have a ton of Kofuzi podcasts to listen to. That really surprises me, guys, because I feel like these podcasts are not like they're I mean, hopefully they're interesting to listen to like after the fact, but like I kind of treat them as like, you know, just like morning radio. Like people don't try to like record morning radio, but I guess people watch like what are the other popular radio shows? Like Howard Stern, people would watch like recordings of that, I guess. Not to say that I'm like Howard Stern, but I guess he also had guests and stuff and other people, but I don't know. I think that's awesome. I think that's so cool that people are watching them later or listening to them later. I see that in the statistics that's happening for the numbers, but it's awesome, guys. All right, looks like Matt LeGrand is in here. What's going on, Matt? He says, yes, power bars were the thing to savor before a high school race. Weren't they? It's like, because like you could, like they were hard to order. You couldn't like, I don't know anyone that ordered them. So you had to find them at the store, right? And so it's like your mom had to really step up normally, or some other parent or parental figure had to step up and get you the hookup to get them, you know? So it was like a double flex. Not only one, do you know about the product, but two, you had someone that could get them for you, you know? So that was always it was such a different time. Like, it was like amazing that, you know, they were talking about like the early days of Power Bar, and there was like it was mail order. Can you imagine that? Like mailing like a check, like I would like to try a box of 12 Power Bars, please, and including like a check, and like mailing it like U.S. Postal Service. I've never got them by mail. I think my mom always got them at the store for me. But like, can you imagine like mailing them, waiting for that letter to get to where they were? I think they were in California, and then like having them fulfill the order and ship it back to you. Like it's like that was in my lifetime. That was, I mean, it feels, I guess it was a long time ago, but it didn't feel like it was that long time ago. But like, it's just amazing how fast things have changed. All right, Leona says, the new RC Elite version 2s are in the house. Nice. Should the first run be shorter, like a 6-miler, or will a long run be okay? I think that they're great right out of the box, but like I think it depends for you, Leona. If you're like someone that sometimes needs to like check to make sure a shoe's going to be okay before a longer run, then I might go with the shorter run. But like I feel pretty confident that most shoes are going to be all right, and if they're not, they're going to let me know really, really early. So, you know, I'd be comfortable. I think I took mine out for a long run for the first one. I'm not sure. Stevie76 says pole vaulters for athletes too. You know, we didn't get treated like it. I'll tell you that. It was pretty funny. I think we were very much resented. We took up the most space. I think that we were like per athlete, probably the most expensive sport. We needed the most space on the bus or the Ford O'Connell line van things. Because we had our poles. We had the most expensive equipment. We had the most expensive pads in the pit. We took up a lot of space in the infield. Like, yeah. Typically, they made us for the day before the meet. I don't know if this is all pole vaulters, but this was pole vaulting in a Division III school that doesn't give out athletic scholarships. Do you want me to take these out for you, or you just want to show up? Oh, I think that you should get a piece of paper. Or you could put it in here.
I don't want it.
Okay, then you want to get another piece of paper and put on a paper? She wants to know where she should put her stickers. You could put them on that trick or treat poster that you made, if you want.
No, I want to save it for
Okay, you could save it. That's fine. So before the meets, so we would go and drive all over the place for our meets on Saturdays. And we would usually travel as a team in like 4 or 5 of those like white Econoline vans a lot of the time. And one of the things that the pole vaulters had to do for some reason was to make sure all the vans were gassed up, and also that, you know, our poles, and then also the stuff for the jav throwers were all ready and prepared. So that's how we spent Friday night. You know, I suppose it kept us from going out and partying. So I guess it was good. I don't know what everyone else did. Probably slept, or stayed in, and whatever. But we would go fill up the vans with gas for the team so we could drive out on Saturday morning. Yeah, pole vaulting was awesome. All right. Melvin Umang says, pardon my ignorance. Still don't understand what went wrong with SJD in New York with their gastrointestinal issues. Did he cramp up and stop until it passed, or did he literally have to throw up or stop at a porta potty? You know, I didn't see. I know he did a live stream that night, so maybe someone that went to the live stream has some other information. Let me see what's going on in here. Anyone else knows? But I think someone mentioned yesterday that they thought it was caffeine induced. And so like it's just kind of like your stomach just kind of like seizes up. I think it's kind of like a mega cramp. I don't think it was vomit. I don't think it was poop. I just think his stomach or just something going on in his digestive tract just rejected that much activity and that much caffeine at once. I think something like that. He was doing really well until he wasn't. As far as I could tell, he was doing well after the Queensboro Bridge. I'm not sure exactly when. Although from some of the footage that I saw, maybe he was going back into Manhattan, or maybe that was when he was going over to the Bronx. And one of the bridges, it looked like he was struggling. But at one point, he was stopped. He wasn't moving at all. Other points, he was walking around, from what I saw from other video, with his hands on his head and just walking. Yeah, and so like I think I don't know if it was the gels that were partially to blame or what. Sometimes you just have a bad day. I felt like he ate a lot of Martin calves before the race started. I felt like he had 2 or 3 before the race even started. So I don't know what other food he was taking. So like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Sometimes you just have a crappy day, so to speak, I think. And I don't really know for sure what happened, but hopefully he knows, so that way he can avoid that in the future. All right. Me New Year says, hello, I'm a Cadence runner. Do I buy the Metaspeed Edge or Sky for long runs? I saw many videos stating that the Sky is better for longer runs. Also, what advice do you have for improving the Cadence? All right, so a couple of things there. You know, when I've talked to ASICs about it, you know, they do talk about the difference between the Cadence runner or the Stride runner. I'm still not sure I really understand. I mean, I understand it, but like, how are the different shoes designed? Like, I don't know. But the overall feedback that I've heard from people who have tried the Edge are that it is a little bit of a firmer shoe, maybe because it's a little bit lower to the ground. So I'm not sure. People have told me that like they would have sent it to me, but they didn't think I was going to like it, and that the Sky is the one that I should go with. So other people have kind of like broken it down to like people that run in the U.S. or like you know in the Western Hemisphere runners. Is it Western? Yeah, Western Hemisphere. I don't know. Western runners versus Eastern, right? So like there's a different style of running in Asia, particularly in Japan, that is different. And probably something that I would consider more of like a heel striker / shuffle than like what you see in the U.S. or in Europe. And so I think that's like another way of looking at it. Not to say that the Edge is solely for heel strikers. I think it's for that specific type of running. Yes.
But he peed in his water bowl.
He peed in his water bowl?
Yeah. There was yellow stuff in a bowl. That was his.
I'm pretty sure it's not pee, but thank you for letting me know. I will clean it up.
It's probably pee.
Okay. The baby thinks the dog peed in the water bowl. I don't think that's true. Well, I'll have to verify later. And so I haven't tried it. I haven't tried to try it because ASICS is telling me like I probably won't like it. So I've gone with the Sky. I really like the Sky. there's not much that I would change with it either. So I'm like, all right. I mean, if they're saying that it's not going to be better, then I'm going to take them at their word for it. Ben Johnson has tried it on Instagram.
Mom's cleaning it up.
Mommy's cleaning it. Thank you. Ben Johnson has tried it. He is the one that has confirmed that it's a very firm, a very different kind of shoe. So, I don't even know if, I don't know how to tell the difference visually, but I'm not sure whether I've seen them actually in real life in the US at all. As far as improving your cadence, I think that there are drills that you can work on for that. So I would work on doing a lot of drills that will help you with turnover. Also doing strides at the end of some of your easy runs is something else that you can do. The other thing that you can do is you can download playlists or get playlists like on Spotify or something like that are set to different beats per minute of the music. And then you just time your steps to match. And so you get a sense for that faster cadence. If you want to figure out or train yourself what those different cadences are. But I think it's really, I've never really been convinced in using cadence as a primary metric. I always feel like it's kind of like the cart leading the horse a little bit a lot of the time. I don't know. I think I definitely don't understand enough about cadence, but that's my understanding. I'm not sure that made any sense. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Dr. Josh says in 98 when Shannon was running at 3,200 meters and I was probably heckling her from the pole vault pit, Dr. Josh was 8 years old playing Pokemon. It's so funny. It's funny. All right. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Sorry, I've been missing you guys. I'm just really far behind. All right, Bobby says, "Sir, only my right leg calf muscles sore after a long run. My left leg calf muscle feeling good. What's the reason behind that? Am I doing something wrong in running?" I don't think that's necessarily the case. The first thing that I would look at is, are your feet doing something different to each other on the run? I think it's probably something that's biomechanical, right? So one thing could be like, if you're running on a road, roads aren't flat. If you think about going, like if I'm going down the road, it's not always flat. They're pitched. So that way water doesn't collect in a puddle in the middle of the road. It always drains off to the sides and then can, roll wherever it needs to go for drainage. So sometimes I know a runner is supposed to run against traffic, but I always like to run with traffic because that feels better for me, depending on the pitch of the road. So that's something that it could be. So I would look out for that. Maybe try a different surface for a while, a softer surface, and see if that helps it. The other thing could be, it just might be that your legs, not everyone's feet are like exactly like straight. All right, let's do it this way. Straight in terms of like how like your feet hit the ground. My feet kick out a little bit, and one of my feet kicks out a little bit more than the other. And so that might be, over the repetitive use of those two things, could be causing some differential experiences in terms of like one side experiences one thing, one side experiences the other. The other thing could be, are you running a lot on a track? In that case, you're doing a lot of turning in one direction, and that could also be exacerbating it too. So I would say that probably the best thing to do is, if it's just soreness and not like, it's not pain, it's not hurt, and you're not injured, I would suggest changing up some variety. I think is probably the solution. Change where you're running, change the pace of your running, change the surface. So that's what I would think. Connell says, "Are you planning to have a cake tagline similar to Seth's Butter My Bread?" I don't know. I don't think so. Butter My Bread is pretty good. I like it. But I don't think I'm gonna have. I don't know if I'll have anything cake related. Probably not cake. If anything, it's gonna be like bagels or pizza, or I don't know. I don't know how we turn that into a phrase, but we'll see. All right. Let's see. I got some more down here. All right. Danny J says, Seth talked about it in today's vlog in terms of his GI issues. He stopped a couple times around mile 13. Said he ate too much junky restaurant carbs in the days leading up. Oh, okay. I feel like he probably takes really good care of himself normally in terms of what his intake is. So if he switched from that all of a sudden to Yeah. I can tell you that my digestion, going from what I eat here to like indulging in lots of bagels, pizza, all sorts of Korean food, Korean Chinese food, like all the stuff that I love to eat but rarely do, and a much higher portion of intake of pickled spicy vegetables, which is what a lot of Korean food is, or just other spicy things. I was definitely off a little bit. So I can kind of, I can understand that. But it's a surprise that he would have, it's a surprise that that's what got to him. But, you know, that's what they say. You got to keep that routine. You know, people make fun of Camille Herron. Camille Herron always has Subway tuna fish sandwiches. I know people are giving her a hard time because it's not really tuna. I don't think that's her point. Her point is that, like, no matter what country in the world she goes to, there's always Subway, and they always have the tuna fish. And she has like a couple footlongs of tuna in the days before from a Subway sandwich, no matter where in the world she goes. She mentioned a couple times too that, like, you know, like when they went to South America, Team USA was like, be careful what you eat here for drug testing reasons. And I think that's when she started eating at Subway. And then even like if she goes to, can you imagine, she said even when she goes to like France or in the Alps, she finds a Subway. Can you imagine like going to the Alps, just like a cultural center of the world, from outdoor adventures, art, food, like it's just amazing there. And being like, do you know where I can find a Subway? Like, that's just amazing. But man, that's a bummer that that's what took him down. He was looking so good. I saw him at mile 8. He was hamming it up with the crowd. I felt like he had a lot of pep. He was moving. He was really moving. But maybe he needs Subway. And then, you know, the other weird thing was that Jordan Trope, who did the Hold Fast Challenge, the Baltimore, Chicago, Boston trio of marathons, he kept wanting to have Olive Garden. And I'm like, Olive Garden? Of all, like, Olive Garden? Like, I don't know. I just don't understand. Oh, I almost dropped my shake there. But, you know, as people got to have that routine, something that you can find no matter where you go, I guess. My go-tos are like Chipotle and Whole Foods. I like to have those whenever I travel for a race. And there was a question. Oh, Leona says, how was it meeting the Korean vegan? It was super nice. She was very cool about it. It was awesome because like her husband was there too, and then like he was in the background doing a lot of filming, and so there was this dude that was like holding up like an iPhone, like on a little you know, he had a little like selfie stick that it was on, and he was holding it and he was trying to get footage from the event, and it was a family affair for them. She had like a posse. I think her publicist was there as well. There was a couple of people that she had come with. And then, you know, I had to wait around a little bit because everyone wanted to talk to her. But I finally got to talk to her for a little bit and tell her. I felt bad because I think I stressed her out. Because I was like, I just want to let you know, I bought the last autographed copy at Unabridged Books. That's a local bookstore up there. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. Man, they've been hounding on me. They've been saying they're low on autographed copies, and they keep wanting me to come back. And I was like, hopefully I didn't like, you know, when people are really busy, as I imagine one person would be when they're doing like running a marathon, launching a book, transitioning careers, going to another city to help promote the book, and also to watch a marathon and go to speaking events. Like, being reminded that there's people that want things from you is probably not a great way to kind of like end the evening. So I felt a little bit bad about that. So there's that. But I was like, yeah, I see you all the time out there on the lakefront. You're looking good, running. Congratulations on everything. You know, so, yeah. All right. Let's see. Remy says it's probably pee. Thanks for that. Back to work. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to talk to my wife. Sometimes I need like a you know, I feel like the baby gives me what she, like a reflection of what she sees happening in her world. But like, you know, it's sometimes if I can get, you know, context, it makes it very interesting to see like how she perceives the universe around her. I was having a conversation like that with some of the other parents, and no one could figure out why the kids didn't have library on Wednesday. And like everyone's kid, you know, they go to the they have like a library session once a week, and everyone's kid, every parent couldn't figure out why they didn't have library on a Wednesday. And I was like, oh, I know. It's because, because I have 2 kids in the school, and the older daughter, you need help? Oh, my older daughter was like, yeah, the librarian was out, so we're gonna have library on Friday instead of Wednesday today. And I told that to the parents. They're like, oh, we couldn't figure out what happened. Like we didn't know why they didn't come home with new books on Wednesday. So I was like, sometimes it takes a translator, or you need like someone else with some on the ground information. You need some other intel. All right. Pedal Andy Pedal said, tried the Alpha Fly and they destroyed the flat feet. The Metaspeed Sky feels so much better. Oh, really? That's interesting. Because I don't think I feel like they feel very similar. They feel like they're both very narrow in the arch. But that Alpha Fly, it does feel like your foot's like hanging over the edge of that shoe a little bit. So I could see that. But I'm glad you found something that works for you, Andy. So that's cool. Yeah, people are starting to talk about like this new Alpha Fly 2 that's supposed to be coming out, but I'm like, majors are done, man. I mean, they're not going to be coming out anytime soon now. That's for sure. So, yeah, we'll see if there's ever any update. But I'm like, at this point, like, do you really even change it at all? I mean, I don't think they changed it this year at all. Got some new colors, which is great, but the shoe's pretty good as it is. Like, that's what I'm thinking when I'm looking at all these shoes right now. I'm like, looked at the Adios Pro 2, the Endorphin Pro 2, Metaspeed Sky. Like, what are they going to do to that? Alpha Fly next percent. Like, don't change it a lot because these shoes are great as they are. Like, I don't really know how you can change them. I mean, I don't think they need to be changed a lot. The RC Elite 2, though, I am glad they changed that shoe a lot because I really like the way it is now as version 2. But I feel like once it gets to be good with a shoe that's a, you know, carbon plated super foam super shoe, once it's good, leave it. Don't change it too much. Yeah, Dokotagaran says Metaspeed Sky versus the Adios Pro 2. Thoughts? I mean, that's going to be the test for CIM. I ran with the Metaspeed Sky in Chicago, and then I'll do the Adios Pro 2. That's what I'm thinking right now for CIM. So I'll have a better answer or have more data for you in 3 weeks or so, 3.5 weeks. My take on it is that the Metaspeed Sky is a lot more like a next percent, and the Adios Pro 2 is like if there were like a faster version of the Alpha Fly, because like there's just a lot in the forefoot. It feels like you're running on like do you guys remember jump soles, like those plyometric shoes? Feels like you're running in those. The Metaspeed Sky just makes it feel like you're going fast. You don't feel a bunch of the shoe. I mean, you feel it in a good way, but it's not like super aggressive or assertive. The Adios Pro 2 or like the Alpha Fly, you feel like that shoe every step. And I kind of like that as well about that. I like both ways, but I also like feeling the shoe. And I feel like it rewards you more if you're running pretty, like if your mechanics are right. And I think for me, that's going to be a big part of the mental game. Trying to run for a PR in California is making sure that I'm, you know, running with good mechanics and being as efficient as possible. I don't know which of the 2 shoes penalizes you more for being sloppy. I suspect they both probably penalize you a decent amount for being sloppy. But I think both of them do a good job of rewarding you for being disciplined, but I think that Adios Pro rewards you a little bit more. I think the Metaspeed Sky probably absorbs impact from the road just a little bit better. So it's going to be a little bit softer. Niels Sorensen says, hey, Kuboys, have you used the On Cloud Stratus more since the first impression video? And if so, what are your thoughts about it? Yeah, I've used it a couple, I think 2 more times, 1 or 2 more times since that first video. And you know, I always have to with on shoes remind myself that it's for a slightly different style of runner that than I am. One that lands a little bit more midfoot, if not heel striking, or what feels like heel striking to me, but it's probably just regular midfoot striking. And it's more about, like, I really think a good comparison or battle video would be the Cloud Stratus versus the Bondi X, because it's about it's like some shoes want you to like run like you're on a stair climber, right? Like bounding knees. Some shoes want you to run like you're on an elliptical, and I feel like the Cloud Stratus and the Bondi X are both kind of in that camp, and so it's just a different style of shoe, I think. But when you can kind of get into the rhythm of what it's designed to do, then I feel like everything flows really well. But for me, it takes a little bit of like intentionality to get there. Space City Running wants to say, what's the average cadence? I think for almost everybody, it depends on the pace. But I think for my easy runs, I think I'm at like 165 to 170. I know that's a big range as far as paces go, but yeah. Jackie also saying with Seth, it was all the dining out he did in New York, and that makes sense. Too different from his super healthy diet. I'll cook my own pasta the day before a race, Jackie says, and order the least saucy dish. Oh, really? See, you know, yeah, I guess that'd be hard. What was he doing? I mean, I guess I didn't watch any of his like before the race videos. It was like, I know he was like in the elite tent and got the bus to go over to Staten Island with the police escort and everything. But was he going to all this other stuff too that like all the other elites go to, or is that just for only the super elites? I don't know. But I wonder why he would have, because he's traveled for races before. Maybe he was just so excited to be in New York. He's like, I'm gonna go out to eat. I think I'll be okay. I mean, that sounds right, but I think that, you know, I don't know. Seems like there might be something more to it. Maybe he doesn't realize. But, you know, I think if you combine that with, you know, if it's an emotionally charged event as well, you know, a lot of things can kind of come in together to do that. I don't know. But something that we all have to learn from. Hopefully, we can learn from his experience. Videos is saying that Ko is such a lawyer with the kids. See right through the dog pee and the bull trick. See, I don't know if it was I don't know what the angle is there with the kids, but you know, I guess we got to go and figure out what the story is. Shannon says it seems like it doesn't seem like Seth eats many carbs normally, so carb loading in and of itself could cause GI distress. He doesn't. That would be a surprise to me, because I feel like he's putting in so many miles. You got to be loading up regularly, you know. Vincent says he eats the spinach chips and salsa. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of carbs in the chips, though, right? Jackie wants to know if I would consider going back to the previous life as a lawyer. I haven't, but my wife keeps considering it. She's like, "Did you let is your law license current?" I'm like, "No, I let it lapse. I didn't re-up because I don't need it. I'm not going back. I'm staying home with the kids." She's like, "Okay, you don't think you need it?" I'm like, "What if you want?" She's like, "What if you want to practice later?" And I'm like, "Then I'll just, you have to do like this recertification process where you have to do a whole bunch of continual education credits. I won't have to retake the bar exam unless I'm in a different state. But if I were in a different state anyway, if it's a state that doesn't have reciprocity, I would have to take another bar exam anyway. But I'm not that particularly interested in practicing law again. Although I was watching, did you guys see what happened to GP Llama? There's some German IP trademark troll that's coming after him for a ridiculous reason. That was fascinating. But also I've been watching parts of like the Rittenhouse trial that's going on, and I'm just like watching the attorneys like stumble with some of the technology and stuff. That was where like my specialty was, technology in the courtroom, in terms of how I helped attorneys. Well, it was one of the ways that I helped attorneys. And I'm just like, hey, I don't want to deal with any of that anymore. So yeah, I'm not looking back now. I mean, maybe. You know, there used to be that show on NBC called Ed, where there's a guy that like moved back to a small hometown and he bought a bowling alley that he also practiced law out of the office. You know, maybe something like that. Go back to New Vienna. I think I'd probably have to learn a lot more about property law and ag law, but property was one of the subjects I did best in law school. So maybe not a bad idea. All right, let's do one more and then I gotta get going. All right. Daz99 says, my first trip to Paris, I ate at Pizza Hut. I needed something predictable. Definitely not gourmet French food. But Pizza Hut in France is different than Pizza Hut that you would eat here. So that's the thing. Like, you're not, I mean, I don't know, maybe now it is. But, like, I remember when I ate, like, Burger King and stuff like that when I went to Korea. This would have been, like, 30 years ago, I guess. It was very different. And I was like, what is this? This is not, like, the Pizza Hut had potatoes on it and had served with kimchi on the side. The Burger King did not taste like Burger King. Like, everything was really different. The labels looked all the same. The packaging was all the same, but the product was super different. Matt says, the high school kids I coach love Olive Garden. It's like crack for teenagers. Maybe Jordan Trump, I think, is a young guy. So maybe that's what it is. Do kids love Olive Garden? Oh, that's awesome. Is this just fondant, or is there a cake in here?
There's cake.
What is it supposed to be, like a giant blueberry?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. The kids are getting antsy, so I definitely got to get going, guys. I have to look into this Olive Garden thing further. I think the kids do like Olive Garden. How weird is that? That's super weird, right? That's weird, right, guys? I don't know. I haven't been to an Olive Garden in probably about 3 or 4 years, so maybe I'm missing out. All right. We may or may not have a video for tomorrow. We'll have to see how much work I can get done tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to have a podcast tomorrow or a live stream tomorrow because I'm taking the kids to get vaccinated. It's early enough that we should be back in time. But some parents have told me that there can be a long line. We're going to the pediatrician's office, and like everyone in my daughter's school, they all go to the same doctors. So like, well, it's like we're all like racing each other to get shots. So like, yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully there's not a long line. Hopefully we'll have a podcast tomorrow. If not, I'll let you guys know. I'll post something on YouTube to let you guys know one way or the other. I should have a pretty good idea once we kind of get there whether or not we'll do it. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I will see you guys Monday for sure. All right, guys. So whenever it is the next time that I see you guys, until then, be safe.